Hi everyone, we're gonna start soon. We'll start at 7 o'clock.
Yes, 7 o'clock.
Okay, which is now. Alright, so hello everyone. Welcome back to this little live broadcast from me, Max, at戴尔美语or Dell. Hello everyone. I see some people saying hello, so how you doing? Hello. Hi. So I hope you're all good and you've had a good week. It's Thursday, it's the end of Thursday, so I think we just have Friday to go and then it's the weekend. I feel good about that. Hope you do too. Hi everyone. So please feel free to write any questions you have and tell all your friends and share this and give us some love and some likes. And yeah, if there's anything you want me to talk about, you can send a question and either we'll answer it today live or we'll sort of come back to it in the future if it's a big topic. Okay, today we are going to talk about IELTS Speaking Part 2. Last week we introduced IELTS Speaking Part 1. This week we are going to talk about IELTS Speaking Part 2. Yeah, hi everyone, thanks for saying hello. Can't read your names, but I see Mandy, that's a name I can read. Okay, so IELTS Speaking Part 2. What happens in IELTS Speaking Part 2? So you're in the exam, you're talking to the examiner, he or she is face to face with you, you finish Part 1, and they say, okay, now we're going to do Part 2. And so in Part 2, you get a question, you get a topic card. So they will give you a topic card, a pen, and a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper. So the topic card is the question. I printed this. This isn't the real topic card, but and this is very big. But basically, you get like a card, a piece of paper with the question on it. So we'll come back to this. But that's what I mean. Like you actually get given the question, and so you get given the question, and then you have 1 minute. The examiner will say, okay, they'll say, okay, you have 1 minute to prepare your answer. So you look at your question, and our example today, which I'll come back to, I think this might be backwards, but anyway, the question says, describe a sports event you enjoyed watching. Describe a sports event you enjoyed watching, and then there's a few like sort of guideline things to talk about. Okay, but the main question, the thing we're focusing on is describe a sports event you enjoyed watching. Notice that it says enjoyed, that's past tense, so something you've watched in the past. Okay, so you look at your question and now you have 1 minute to prepare. So on your piece of paper with your pen, you start planning your answer, and so you start making notes. Your brain is just thinking of everything you can. You must choose an idea, so choose a sports event, anything you can think of. Maybe it was a basketball game at your high school, or a baseball game in your hometown stadium, or maybe something overseas. Maybe it was something interesting like a car racing or a surfing competition or something like that. So do that, and then you start planning that answer. Planning the answer, that's something we should talk about in the future, because that's a whole different, that's a whole little thing we should talk about, but we won't have time for that today. Anyway, so you plan your answer, and the examiner will give you 1 minute, and after 1 minute they say, okay, stop. And so you stop, you put your pen down, and they say, all right, you may begin. And now you have 2 minutes to give your answer. So you need to talk for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. At 2 minutes, the examiner will stop you. They'll say, okay, thanks, stop. Even if you like halfway through a sentence, they'll just say stop. Okay, so you should try to plan your answer so it's about 1.5 to 2 minutes. I think that's the perfect time for a part 2 answer. That's really important, everyone. 1.5 to 2 minutes, 90 seconds to 120 seconds. That's the range you want your answer to be in. Okay, I hope you remember that. And that's something you should practice. Like, try practice that time management. Somebody's asking, I'm wondering if I can speak enough for 2 minutes because I'm very nervous. Will it affect my score a lot? So like I say, you don't have to speak for 2 minutes. I think if you can just get over 1.5 minutes, then you're good. So you know, aim for 90 seconds. But yeah, take some practice, and it definitely takes that. Remember, in that 1 minute where you get to plan, that's really important. You need to plan your answer, and if you feel nervous, then my advice is like sort of practice it and try to practice it with people to overcome your nervousness. But also, being nervous is normal. So. And the examiners have seen many nervous students before, so don't worry too much. Does that help, Lisa? I hope that helps answer your question. Don't be nervous, just, you know, do your best and keep a smile on your face, and you'll sort of forget about being nervous. All right, so that's part 2. I think I covered it. Is that it? So yeah, the examiner will stop you, and then you will have, and then you'll move on to part 3, and we'll talk about part 3 in the future. So I just wanted to quickly give you an example of my answer. I haven't even planned this. I just saw this question: describe a sports event you enjoyed watching, and I got one that I immediately thought about. It was in 2019, before coronavirus, before the pandemic, just before it. I had this awesome experience to go to Japan, where I watched the Rugby World Cup. Rugby, maybe you guys don't know rugby. Rugby is a very popular sport, but it's not really an American sport. Anyway, rugby, I think in Chinese is Ganlan Cho, okay? And so myself from Taiwan, a friend from England, and 2 friends from South Africa, but we all South African. We went to Japan to watch this Rugby World Cup, and so it was like a friends reunion, and we were going to these big sports games in Japan, a country they had never been to. I'd only been to once, and we got to hang out and do all these fun things together, and then go to the stadium and watch our country, South Africa, play rugby against Italy, and we won the game, and we just had so much celebration and so much fun, and we spent about 10 days there, just going to games and doing tourist attractions and chatting with each other. Amazing experience. So I would talk about that. No problem, Lisa. Hope that helps. And then after part 2, the examiner might ask you a follow-up question. So you've just given your answer about a sports event you watched, or it could be anything, and then they will say, so you've given your answer, and then they might give you a follow-up question. For example, they might say, like, would you like to watch a similar sports event in the future? and so you just give a short little answer like, oh yes, I would love to watch that sports event again. In fact, the Rugby World Cup is every 4 years, and my friend is already asking me, do you want to go to the next one? It's in France. So maybe it's in 2023, I'll see. Okay, another person's asking a question. Will the examiner ask something tricky? I think this means in part 2. Will the examiner ask something tricky? So that depends. That depends. That's a good question, but I don't think you'll get a tricky question. But the question might be something you've never thought about before. It might be something you've never really considered. It might be something that you don't really know a lot about, but you definitely will find, you must find a way to get like a 90-second or 2 minutes answer for that question. So, you know, some questions are like, describe a house you want to live in the future. Like if I got that question, I would be like, that's a weird question. But I would just start letting my imagination go, and I would just start to think of a house. Either it's a real house or it's in my imagination, and I'll spend a lot of time describing what the house looks like, where it is, why I want it there, all the decoration inside, all the features, the swimming pool, the tennis courts, the cars and everything. Or you could get like there's a question, describe an important text message you received. That's also like a weird question, but it's, you know, you got to find a way to just answer these questions. There must be something that's happened in your life that you can connect this question to. Nothing is really tricky. It's not, there's no trick questions. It's just, some of them might be a bit weird, but they're normal questions, and the questions are for everyone. If you're male or female, or you Taiwanese, or you Brazilian, or you Indian, no matter what, you should be able to answer this question. Let's see, what else? How do I start with a strong opening for speaking part 2? That's a great question. So, strong opening, just start with, today the sports event I'm going to describe, or this, where's our question here? Today I'm going to talk about a sports event that I really enjoyed watching, which was and immediately start to talk about what it was, where it was, when it was. Give those really crucial details first, so that they can, so that the examiner can sort of understand what you're talking about. But yeah, you can start with, today I'm going to talk about or a sports event I enjoyed watching was So I hope that helps. Another question, what should I do if I meet a question I don't have any thought about? For instance, describe a person who impressed you most when you were in primary school. It's tough for me because I can't even remember. I can't even remember primary school. Yeah, that is a good question. I can't remember primary school either. For that one, I would just probably think of like your favorite teacher in your life, like maybe junior high or senior high or elementary school, and just describe him or her. The point, this is a skill, this is a talent, this is something you need to practice, and it's like having ideas, because there's definitely a way to connect the question to some experience from your life. And often we sort of forget things, and so the more you sort of practice doing this, the more you'll understand how to make a long answer out of a simple idea. Okay, it does take practice, so I suggest sort of doing it, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. It's much easier than you think. All right. So everybody, we're coming to the end. Good night to you. Somebody's saying good night. Have a great sleep. We're coming to the end. Thanks for all your questions. I love them. I hope I'm answering them well. These are great questions. So let's keep going next week. Next Thursday, same time, 7 p.m. We'll be talking about IELTS Speaking Part 3, I think. So you definitely want to come and be here for that. This video will be on Facebook, I believe, so you can leave us some comments, and if you have more questions, just put them in there and we will answer them for you. So yeah, nice to see you everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.